Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's Jimmy Trades here. Please subscribe to the channel. Remember to turn on that notification icon and be sure to give the video a like. If you can like the video as soon as possible where the video starts, that will help the algorithm spread the video far and wide and give more people access to the channel. Let's jump into this week that we're going to have ahead of us. Looking at how I plan to attack the week, the smart money way, starting with the all-important calendar. Let's see what we've got going on. So we have no news Monday, albeit that there has been plenty of news today, and we'll get to that in a second. Then followed by Tuesday CPI. So Monday, I was anticipating more of a consolidation day moving into CPI Tuesday. That hasn't happened for one main reason, and we'll have a look at that. And then Wednesday, we have no news. Thursday, tons of news, mostly at 8:30, followed by Powell speaking at 8:40. So who knows how long that'll go on for. And that's probably going to make Thursday pretty tricky to trade. Friday, we have 10 a.m. news with the consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. So heading over to the charts. And we'll start here on the weekly chart for NQ. Guys, we have CPI tomorrow, as I just mentioned. It's a great opportunity to OSOC your evals. One shot, one kill. If you're not sure what that is, there will be a stream. I'll try and find the link and drop it on the channel on this video here. So keep an eye out for that, to Day Trading Realtors channel, where he will be streaming his one shot, one kill method of passing evals in a matter of seconds. CPI is by far the best news or high impact news event for passing these evals. So if you want an opportunity to get funded quickly, CPI is your chance to do it. Nothing's guaranteed, of course. Just remember that. But if you want to grab some evals, Apex have 80% off right now. And you use code Jimmy and you'll get 80% off your evals right now. Or if you're into Tradeify, Tradeify's platform is beautiful, always updating it as well. Tradeify, 40% off for new users and 30% off for existing users across all their account offerings. And they do have a direct SIM to funded account as well, just so you know. Code Jimmy Trades for Tradeify. All right, so great opportunity. CPI coming up tomorrow. I will be trying to OSOC myself. It's always good to try and get a couple of funded accounts up your sleeve. So why not have a go? And with discounts like we're seeing right now with Apex and Tradeify, why not? All right. So let's have a look at the chart here. Here we are on NQ on the weekly. We've gapped up. Huge gap up there. This is all to do with tariffs. And if you have a look here on the screen right now, you'll see some of the news that has filtered around. And this is why we are getting these pumps today. So there was news of tariff between US and China coming to some sort of agreement before market open, which is what saw orders come in. And then we see this gap up. Then we had the London Open with confirmed tariff news, as you can see on the screen, and that then sent the chart higher. So prices rocketed from there. Now that we've reached the initial target I already put this on the chart before price started moving, and we've closed through, or we haven't closed through, but we've obviously, looks like we're going to push through this level, no worries at the moment. Therefore, I'll be looking for price to want to reach up into this region. Okay, that's where I'm going to want to see price moving towards. We're going to sort of probably get some reaction here at these opposing candles, I would say. So that's where I'm drawn to at the moment. If we drop down to the daily, so that's our weekly prospect. We've already taken out these equal highs here, which is that level I was already looking at. We do have a gap here, a daily gap. And we have a swing high here as well. So if price continues to move today, that's where I'll be looking for price to want to reach to over the next day or so. I'm anticipating probably a fairly bullish week unless we get some other tariff news. And unfortunately, at the moment, that's just, it is what it is. We can't do much about that. If we have a look at the hourly, you know, this gap, I mean, gaps do like to be filled. Okay, there's no doubt about it. At the moment, I don't believe we're going to draw back to that today. But you never know. We might see a retracement back into this level before we continue higher. But for now, you know, obviously there's no reason here just yet to suspect that we're going to reverse. If we get a closure, if we close, let's say we wick above this candle here and we close back inside the range of the previous candle, then we might start looking for price to run lower. Of course, then we might see a bounce out of that as well. All right. So bullish today. For NQ. Very tricky to trade this market before CPI as well. And we've already had such momentum today. We'll just have to be very cautious as we move into New York Open. We'll have the same deal here, or a similar idea here with ES, although ES is lagging behind a little bit. So where NQ has pushed through this level, ES has not. So this is quite interesting. The price is reacting from this level. All right, so this is going to be the area of interest right now that I'm looking at for price to react to. Let's have a look at the daily. So the next swing high is all the way up here. Now we don't have another swing high or pivot there, and there's no gaps. Maybe the 4-hourly has something. We've taken out all those equal highs there. We do have a gap that we're in right now, and a swing high. So if we move to the hourly, we'll be keeping an eye on. Obviously, this is news, so I'm anticipating at least this high to be swept. Price likes to run out these data wicks, as we call them. So we'll see how price runs here. I'll stick with bullish bias. Not going to move against the trend just yet. Having a look at CL. Oh, let's turn that off. Oh, that's my new indicator too, guys. SMT, Jimmy Trades. Go and grab it. It's a free indicator that I've been working on. There'll be, continual refinements to it as I continue to use it. But I've done a fair bit of testing of it already. I'm really happy with it. And I'll just give you a quick look at some of the settings here. So you can set your own time frames that you want to look at. So multiple time frames. Choose the asset you want to use. In a further update down the track, we'll be able to have an inverse asset. So if you were trading 6E, for example, and you wanted to see the inverse correlation, or the inverse S&T to Dixie will have that feature as well, and another symbol added in, but this is where we're at the moment. You can have bullish or bearish S&T on or off, and you'll also see a confirmation. So the confirmed or unconfirmed, it'll start printing the S&T before the candle closes. And then if the candle closes and leaves an SMT, then the candle will turn solid. So it prints with a dotted line or whatever you choose for an unconfirmed. And then as soon as it's confirmed, it ends up as a solid line. So yeah, grab that S&T indicator, Jimmy Trades. It's a free indicator. SMT, Jimmy Trades, there we go. So a few people have already started getting a hold of that. All right, make sure to favorite it as well. Okay, so oil having a bit of a run up higher here as well. I'd like to see this high drawn out into this bearish FEG and see how price reacts at that level. I'd like to see that as my draw for now. And we've got a bit of a gap here that will likely be filled, but I'd like to see this level taken first, then run the low. Okay. That's the weekly. Same deal here on the daily. Got a couple of highs to run out here, but this one stands out and it is into that bearish FEG. And if we have a look at the run through these levels here, this FEG is up in a premium. Okay, so this dealing range price is up in a premium in this FEG. So seeing price come up into here would make sense to run out this high, potentially move lower. We could even see price wick up into this gap here. And then seek out this low resistance liquidity down here. So bullish for oil today. The hourly will see, you can see that bullish trend. So no need to move against that just yet. That gap pretty well got filled straight away as well. And we're moving higher. This is data week again, so definitely want to see this run out. I'll likely see that during New York. Let's have a look at 6E. Look at the reaction there. Let's have a look at the weekly. Actually, before we do, we actually had this marked out last week. So we marked this out when this candle was printing. Okay, so on Friday, possibly even Thursday, we marked that out. And we can see here, price came straight up to these opposing candles and we had that reaction. So great call on the bias there. Now we are getting a fairly strong move lower. Obviously that news has played a big part in that. We have a gap down here. That's in a deep discount of this dealing range from here to here. But we do see that we have this insight to order flow here, this weekly bearish candle closing back inside the range. Okay, and we're extending lower. So we're getting some expansion here. We'll see how price reacts to, we've still got this gap. It's not closed through yet. Okay. But let's drop down. Same deal here. Price is reacting to this bullish FEG. So we are finding some support there at the moment. And if we move down to the hourly, we're going to have a bit of work to do to get a change in the state of delivery here. So we want to see something like this for a change in state of delivery, and then we can start looking to run out this low resistance liquidity above price here. Did we run into an hourly point of interest? We did. We did run into an hourly point of interest. Okay, so we in this gap, there's two gaps here, and price ran down into that. And we do have a candle closure back inside the range of the previous candle. So that doesn't immediately make me bullish, because we do have this huge gap above. All right. Price will likely come up into that gap like I've shown here, and then run lower. That's what I'd like to see. So I'm going to stick with the trend here and run with the bearish bias. Dixie. Clean that up. Go to the weekly. Pushing through this bearish gap. We had that candle closure here back inside the range a few weeks back now, giving us insight to order flow. And, we could be targeting this high here. We need to get a closure through this gap first. We do have another gap here aligned with this opposing candle, so there'll definitely be a reaction at that level. You can see price reacting off this order block, these opposing candles, getting a nice push there. We're still in this gap, okay, but we're not bearish just yet. Let's check out the hourly. Similar to 6E, I mean, it's an inverse correlation there, so we can see that Dixie closed back inside the range, but similar to what we were talking about just before on 6E, wanted to see price come down into this gap and then see if we get a reaction out of that. All right, so bullish. Even if we get a bearish move here into this gap, I'm still looking for price to run higher. Checking out gold now on the weekly. Looks like there's some selling pressure coming in. We had this weekly candle closure back inside the range. Again, another closure back inside the range. If we run out 50% of this week's seller's candle, we can see that we reacted straight off the equilibrium of that. And that's where price ran lower. We have equal lows here and a tiny little gap. That's where I'm drawn to. I want to see these lows taken out. Running bearish for gold. Daily will be a similar story. Almost an identical gap there. So that's where I want to see price drawn to. Then we can have a look to see where we react. This dealing range, we see this or these gaps in a discounted level. Okay. So to see price come down in here does make sense before potentially moving higher. And at some point, I want to see this high taken out, because that there is a strong or a high level drawn liquidity. There's no wick to the high side. Okay. GBP, similar deal with GBP. We had that move that we were looking for. Let's hang out on the daily here. So, sorry, on the weekly. So weekly though, we are inside this bullish FPG. We're gonna have to see how price reacts here. We are reacting off the equilibrium at the moment. You can see that. If we just mark that out, you can see the reaction there. Daily, we are, or we have, so we're getting some conflicting information here. Bearish breaker. FVG aligned with the breaker. Price reacted out of that FVG. This is our bearish unicorn. Now we do have equal highs up here. Price will want them at some point. High to the low. This is our target area. And this low could be our draw. We have plenty of bullish gaps here to see price react out of. If we look at the daily range, they're in a discount down here. So we could see price move lower here. I'm going to stay bearish for now. Let's jump over to Bitcoin. Weekly. Let's just hide everything for the moment. Here we go. So great weekly close. Strong weekly close. If we can see price hold the equilibrium of the previous week's range, then we can continue to see expansion back to all-time highs, and then hopefully up to our original target of that. I think we had like 111,000 originally, which we got pretty close to last time. So let's move down to the daily. There's a lot going on here. Might even clean that up, actually. Give ourselves some new targets here. And that's just by running the standard deviations or the fibs off the manipulation leg here. Looking for this to be our target region back to all-time highs. Do I think we'll get to all-time highs before a major sell-off? I do, but we have to maintain these levels. So I want to see price pull back into this gap and then continue higher. So we're getting a daily close. If we close back inside the range of this candle, then I can anticipate price to run lower. If we respect this gap, then we can see price continue to move higher. Alrighty, that's a wrap on today's video, guys. Thank you for tuning in. That's how we're going to attack the week ahead. Remember to grab those evals for CPI tomorrow. Apex code Jimmy, 80% off. Tradeify code Jimmy Trades for 40% off for new users, 30% off for existing users. Have a great Monday, guys. Remember to join us over in Trade Foundry. We trade live 4 days a week, sometimes 5, but usually 4 at a minimum. We'd love to see you over there. Take care. Bye for now.